What's up, everybody? Michael Johnson here with the Business Choreography Podcast. And I'm so excited today because we have some special guests, Michael and Rebecca Beach, and they are incredible. They started creating on YouTube back in the olden days of 2011 when they learned people were making money on the platform, and they made it their number one side hustle. With no experience or formal education, they've turned it into a thriving business and have amassed over 1 million subscribers. Now, they're starting to share what they've learned and are helping others grow on the platform too. Guys, we are so privileged and lucky to have them on the show today. And so let's cue the intro and we'll get started. Listen, there's a lot to learn when growing and scaling your business.
That's why we created the Business Choreography Podcast, where we talk about choreographing your marketing, operations, and sales into dynamic systems that increase your revenue and your impact.
We'll explore solid business principles and discuss all things that make businesses dance to success with clarity.
We'll help you figure out where the holes are in your business and what you can do to fix them. Think of us as your official business choreographers, aka your insider growth strategists.
Remember, your choreography matters. Welcome to the Business Choreography Podcast. Guys, welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us. We're excited to be here.
Absolutely. This has been a long time coming. I've been trying to get you on the show for ages, but life happens and things happen. And so I'm glad that we finally got it to work out and that you're here today.
Yeah, me too. I feel bad it took us so long to get together to film this, but I'm actually happy to make it happen once and for all, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It's okay. Life happens. Entrepreneurs happen. And that's the thing. We get out, we start doing business, and you never know what kind of things grab our attention. And so I want to introduce the audience to you and let them know why they're listening and what you're about and who you're about. So before I let you tell about your journey and your path and how you're doing, I've got to say, and I told you a little bit about this in the beginning, my children love you guys. And so all of my entrepreneurs that are listening to this show right now, if you have children, you gotta like make sure that they go watch their channel. My children love you guys. So I appreciate you. I thank you so much because you guys create some fun content and you guys are superstars in my house. So super fun. And it's you're famous, so I appreciate that. But I want to tell everybody, have you tell everybody about your journey to getting into YouTube and making that work. Tell them what your channel's about, what you guys do, and that whole path.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. Like you said, at the beginning, I had no experience doing any video.
Oh my gosh.
I had no experience filming, no experience editing.
Let's say he was always the one filming with his home videos.
As a kid, when you got the home video camera and you're telling your siblings to put on some funny act, but that was like nothing formal, no real education, nothing enough that I would feel confident filming with, if I had a crew or anything, for sure. No social. I actually didn't like social media for a long time. Definitely hated being on camera. I hated the sound of my voice on camera. I was like, that sounds weird.
Wow.
So for me, it was like very foreign country getting started. But, my wife, Rebecca, said one day, there's people making money on YouTube.
Well, actually, it started with, we had moved away and I was like, we need to post videos because we have the only grandkid and my parents don't get to see him. So we started filming just random home videos like, oh, this is what we're up to. But then my brother called and was like, you realize people are making money like just filming their lives. And I was like, no. Really? He's like, yeah, and you guys are entertaining. So I was like, oh, that would be fun. So, we kind of had that idea in the back of our brain, but we also were just filming for family. And I was like, oh my goodness, Michael, our family watched this video like 40 times.
Yeah, I was like, why did they watch it so many times? And so we'd call her parents and be like, did you guys really like the video? I can see you guys watched it 40 times. And like, we actually haven't even watched it yet. And
oh my gosh.
Who's watching our videos?
Yeah, that was kind of like, what? Other people
Weird.
care about it? That's weird. Yeah, so that was our little introduction into it. But then fast forward, I think, 1 year.
Yeah.
And then we were really dirt poor. We were like working at a storage unit, and we were making $600 a month. And, it was great for us. We were really happy, except I couldn't afford like making crafts, and I really wanted to. And I was like, Michael, if I made craft videos and we put them on the internet, it would be like
they might make some money to cover the cost of the craft.
And I totally didn't believe it. I was like, yeah, you should do this. Like,
that's awesome.
Let me spend some extra money to make these videos. And he's like, okay. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, she knew exactly what to say to get me to say okay.
I got that entrepreneur, I know what to say.
Yeah. Well,
she was a salesperson.
Yeah.
It's like, I know how to sell it to make him think that it will be a good idea.
So she filmed a couple more tutorial videos with our cell phone. At the time was like the original iPhone. So it was like really quality. And I was like, I got to edit this somehow. So I would use like Windows Movie Maker, and I was like frustrated with how difficult it was to edit. And I didn't really know what I was doing. And so, we filmed a couple of videos just with basic minor edits. Mm-hmm. And you actually started getting a little bit of traction.
And I was like,
wow.
Wait, it was different. It was different than when we would just put our family videos. Our family videos, there was no rhyme or reason. There was no, hey, this is who I am. I figured the only people watching were my family, so I didn't need to explain anything, Yeah. So there really wasn't any strategy or thought behind the videos. But when I was putting out these tutorials, I really was thinking, how can I help them understand, if they want to make this thing, how to do it? Like, what is the best way to explain? And it was interesting because, it's 2012 at that point.
10 years ago.
Oh, wow. That's weird.
But which is like ages ago in social media.
Oh, yeah. That's like,
it's like 100 years ago.
The Wild West of YouTube.
Yeah.
But I realized, if you put something worthwhile on the internet, something helpful to people, they'll watch it.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, this is kind of cool. Like, I really wasn't expecting to get any views. And then from there on, it was like, let's post this, let's do this, just random tutorials, things that I was already going to do in my life. And we had one video. No, we had no idea why it went viral at the time. Do you remember how many?
I don't know. You're talking about slime.
How to make slime. So I did a how to make slime tutorial before the slime wave of
craze.
Oh yeah, this was way before. Which now I'm like, dang it, I should have just kept doing that slime.
But I think it got like 2,000 views or something. And so we were like, wow, this video is like huge. It was our best video. So I think it ended up at like 70,000. Like, it was really like, those were numbers that we weren't seeing. Yeah.
Right.
And we got excited because we started to make a little bit of money. Like, YouTube, at the time, you could like track how much you were making. And back then, if you had a small channel, it would make pennies a day, but you could see that. Whereas today, there's a threshold and you can't even monetize until you hit a certain amount.
So
So I got excited about seeing $10 in my account on YouTube. And I was like, hey, we made $10 this month. Maybe next month we can do that again. That's like an hour's worth of work. And a couple months later, after posting just some more tutorials, I think we got our first paycheck. And it was like
$100.
It was like $100.
$100. Wow.
And I was still working full time while all this was happening. Like, I had a full-time job. She was actually managing storage units. And we had 2 kids, 2 little babies.
Oh my
gosh. So we had a lot of other stuff going on. But I remember when we got our tax return, I was like, okay, if I can get a better editing software and a better camera, like we can actually make this YouTube thing and take it seriously. So we took our entire tax return and I bought an iMac so that I could have iMovie. And we got
investment.
Because I heard iMovie was easy to use and the iMacs were really good for like artists and creators. And so I wanted to have good equipment so that I could feel really proud about the content we were creating.
Right.
And so then at that point, we really put a little bit, that money into it. We put more time, effort, mental thought.
And it really set the stage for like, okay, yeah, this might actually work. And from now on, we want to try and reinvest whatever resources we do have. I mean, $100 was so much considering we made $600 a month to live off of as a family. Like, that was crazy. $100. So that was a big deal. And then from that point on, we kind of were just like, let's reinvest. That's the entrepreneur like mindset he has. My family doesn't usually think of, but it's like,
and reinvesting not only financially, but also mentally. So I was taking a lot of time. So I'd go on YouTube and I'd watch like videos on how to edit,
which they didn't have hardly anything of back
then.
Now it's like you can learn anything.
Like how to do better thumbnails, how to do better metadata, how to actually get more traction, how to make your videos more compelling. So I started like self-educating because I realized I really have no idea what I'm doing and I need to understand this better. And so I really started to dive into it with all of my spare time because I was like, we're getting paychecks now. We have a potential to make this a full-time thing, which is ultimately my dream, is to be self-employed doing my stuff. I didn't even care what it was. I just wanted to do something that I owned, and so having that drive to be able to quit my full-time job to do YouTube full-time really pushed me in all my spare time to learn.
I think for a little while we were just like, sweet, like I think we both felt good about it. We both, we had lots of people challenge us and say, why are you putting your children on the internet? Why are you putting your family on the internet? You're in danger, stalkers, really whatever. And we just felt good about it. Like, so I never really felt like that held any weight. But there was a lot of naysayers. A lot of people saying, Michael, I love, otherwise I wouldn't say this, but and then they'd be like, you're being crazy. You need to get a real job. You need to get more money, whatever, take better care of your family, whatever. And we were the crazy ones for sure. Especially at that time, it wasn't like it is now where it's like every kid and their dog wants to be a YouTube star.
Thanks to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it started out where we were kind of like, we were in this no man's land. It wasn't
there was more fear with the internet, I feel like.
With the internet in general, with social media in general, YouTube was not like a viable career option
sustainable
that people were pursuing regularly. And it's funny because even now, 2022, here people tell them I'm a YouTuber. I do it full time. I've been doing it for 6 years full time. And I still get people today like, wait, really?
How do you do that?
Like, people live off of YouTube as a career? And I'm like, yes, like it's a thing. It's been a thing for a long time. And so it's funny because there's still that, even now, like back then it was a big thing, but even now there's people that are shocked to hear that people are living off of YouTube.
Usually the older the person gets, the more
well, the younger kids for sure. Well, they just grew up with it, We didn't realize we were getting in at a good time because it's so funny, 10 years ago when we started on YouTube, all the people that we were watching on YouTube who were doing it full time were saying it's too crowded, it's too saturated, it's too late, you missed the boat.
We were like,
really?
Oh yeah. 10 years ago, people were saying you missed the chance. And for us to come in like we did and to take as long as it took us, we took a long time.
It was not a quick
overnight
thing.
A quick blow up. But I see even now, this day and age, I'll see people come in with no experience, no subscribers, and they'll blow up a channel because there's just so many resources available to help people be successful on YouTube.
And it's so important to not lose who you are when that happens because, we were the big ones for a little while.
In
our group of friends, we were the big ones.
The big YouTubers.
And like we had all these friends come in and like we started getting a big head and they were like, oh, one day we just want to be like you. Now they have like 5 million subscribers. Okay. Like it was a slice of humble pie.
Yeah.
And we were like, man, you cannot predict. It is not oversaturated. And anyone that has passion and wants to jump in and do this and doesn't want to listen to all the naysayers that'll say, oh, you know, that's for the crazy people, the you know, the tiny percentage that are going to make it. No, it's like, it is a sustainable, actual job that can happen.
Right.
And you never know who's going to be successful with it. And it's important not to get prideful about it. Yeah. That was a hard lesson, but it was a good one. It was like, yes, that's good.
Yeah. So just going back a little bit, we started with her channel, which was the crafting tutorials.
Right.
And then we decided to add another channel into the mix. I think you were...
Well, actually, we lost our job.
Oh, yeah.
And we were, up until then, really just coasting and like, oh, let's
we got fired.
Video. We totally got fired. And it just felt like the world was caving in on us.
Sure.
And everything from that point changed. We had 2 weeks to get a job and a house and get out of the storage unit job. And we were like, ah! It was life-changing. And we prayed like crazy. And we ended up finding a job and a house just like within a week. And then we were out of that house in 1 week instead of 2. And from that point on, we were like, we need to take YouTube seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
Because this could be everything for us. Yeah. And we felt really, really good about it. So then we started, like, it was crazy because he would go to work and he'd be gone for 8 hours a day. And then he'd come home. And the kids, oh man, they barely saw him, because then I'd be like, okay, hurry up, eat dinner, get the kids to bed, let's film a video. And then he'd sit and then he'd get up and go to work the next day. And it was like the craziest lifestyle of hardly doing anything with our kids. It was hard. It was really hard. That was the grind.
Yeah. I think that lasted for about 2 years, I want to say.
Wow.
I would come home from work every day. We'd film a video. This is after we started our family channel.
2014 to...
It was the end of 2016.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was almost 2 years of doing that. Where I would go to work, I'd come home, we'd film, I would edit, I'd go to bed, and it'd all start over every day.
It was so hard. That's the stuff
they don't... You were putting out videos every day?
We did daily, yeah. So her craft channel, we were doing 2 videos a week, and we'd film those on Saturdays. And then on our family channel, we would do daily, and that was Monday, Friday, Tuesday, all through Sunday even.
So 9 videos a week for 2 years, and we were not making hardly anything.
Well, we were making...
It was pennies, you know.
We were at a point where we were getting almost a paycheck a month by this point, where we were making $100 to $200 a month.
And let's say, let's be real though. You get a viral video, that's not sustainable. That doesn't last forever. It's like a one-time paycheck sometimes.
Right.
Slime. Whoa, it's crazy. We made like $100. Yeah, we made $100. And then it went back to pennies. Yeah. Little increments of pennies, but it was, unsustainable. But it was just like, it was building though. It was just so slow. So that's the part they don't, say. They don't tell you. You see this beautiful, polished version of this YouTube.
Edited video.
It's so advertising.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody wants it as a job, because it's like too good to be true. Well, that's right. It is too good.
It is too good to be true.
You only see the good part. You do not see the hard. You don't see the grind. You don't see the work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And that part is work. It's work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you... What made the family channel take off the way it did? Like, how did you make that choice to go further and deeper into that?
Yeah. Well, we were posting daily on the Beach House, our family channel. We had the kids involved, and we were really just trying to create a fun family channel. Something that, to me, I said, I am enjoying creating these videos enough to where I don't care if it takes me 10 years to be successful financially. I'm going to just keep doing it because it's fun, right? That had to be number one for me. Yes, I was a business and I wanted to make money, but if I wasn't just absolutely enjoying it, I would burn out long before we ever made enough money to make it worthwhile. Right. So that was the goal. And, we were doing daily, but it was about
was 2 years.
Almost 2 years in, I think we hit 10,000 subscribers on the beach house.
Wow.
Which was huge. That was like that's so hard to get to that point.
2 years daily videos. That was over 600 videos, 700 videos.
What'd you say we got per video? Like,
we might have made a couple dollars per video.
I mean, like,
something like that.
So, like views. It was like maybe 1,000 views.
A couple hundred views, maybe 1,000 views per video.
Yeah.
We hit 10,000 subscribers. And then we did.
My brother came in and saved the day.
This is kind of like the bolt of lightning, you know, like this absolutely random, unexpected. We weren't planning on this. We weren't like, this is going to go viral. We just did this crazy thing. Her brother spent a couple of months building a treasure hunt for us.
My brother Ryan, he has to get credit.
Yeah, he deserves some credit here.
He deserves it. He changed everything for us.
He created this really cool, super detailed, super like authentic, realistic treasure hunt in our home.
Built it into our house where we had to destroy walls. Like, you know, we had secret little passage things that we didn't know were there. You know, it was like
we actually had no idea.
He just said, "I'm doing something. You can film it later." And we're like, "Okay, just don't break anything." Yeah.
And we're just thinking, oh, it'll be a great video for our channel. No big deal. Well, we filmed it. It ended up being like, I think it was like 32 minutes long. It was like this big, long treasure hunt. Took us half the day to film. And I was like, this is like super intricate, but it's really cool. I think people are going to love it. Well, it did go viral.
That was the first real viral video.
And it got millions of views.
How many does it have now?
It's got, I think it's got over 40 million views. But it went, like, it took our channel from 10,000 subscribers, and in 30 days, we had 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Whoa.
All because of that one video.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was crazy.
And did they start going back and watching your other videos too? I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
All those people?
Not a ton. Not as much as I thought, actually.
Oh, okay.
I expected there to be more. Because what happened was immediately after that, because we're daily.
So it's 31 million
31 million. Now. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So immediately after that, the next day was just a regular family vlog, right? Because we're doing daily. And I didn't have another treasure hunt ready to go. I wasn't thinking about that. I didn't even know it was going to go viral.
Right.
And so that one got millions of views, but the next video just went back to normal viewership.
No. Maybe a couple more people watching, but then they go, oh, this isn't a treasure hunt. Okay, they click away.
Yeah. And so we're like, this is we got a cool treasure hunt video. It's going viral. What do we do? Like, how do we make this keep going, right?
Right.
And so we talked to a friend, Daryl Leaves, who's like a big time YouTube guru, tutorial guy. Yeah.
By that point, we had kind of made friends with some of the other YouTubers in the state of Utah, and kind of were like picking their brains, you know, what do we do?
Collaborating.
And he had seen that our video was just going nuts, and we were like, we don't know how to handle this. We don't know what to do.
And so he gave us one of the best pieces of advice that we've continued to implement and share with other people wanting to get started on YouTube. He said, take your best video, which for us was the treasure hunt. He said, do another video just like it, as similar as possible, get a similar title, similar thumbnail, and that will bring back all that traffic that's coming in, because we're getting all these new subscribers, all these new people.
Right.
And then YouTube's going to serve that second video right next to it. And so now people have something to watch and something else to watch on our same channel. And that took the spike and have that now become our new standard instead of just dipping back down.
What do they call that? Tent poles, where like tent pole videos are kind of like your hero videos, your most amazing videos. You try to get as many of those as you can. Then you have kind of medium content in between, but you can't do it all the time because it's really hard unless you have easier videos to film than we did.
So I was like, and he's like, do it as soon as you can, do another treasure hunt video as soon as possible. And I was like, Ryan, how quickly can you do it again?
Oh my gosh.
And he was like, that took me months. You know, he's been stocking up and writing these clues. I was like, well, we need another one as soon as possible.
So we basically, from that point on, we hired him.
Yeah.
We're like, we need you as our private treasure hunt maker.
Yeah.
Right.
But then we took the treasure that we had made, or that we had gotten from the treasure hunt, the very first treasure hunt. We found the treasure, and it looked like it was this huge chest full of money, but it was really just a prop.
Yeah.
he had made these really cool paper stacks and put $1 bill on the top and one on the bottom, and then
nice.
And it looked exactly like a ton of money, but it was his rent for the month. It was like $200 or something.
So it looked like we'd gotten millions of dollars, but it was $200.
Right.
And so we're like,
have we ever told anybody that?
Oh, I don't know. Probably on our podcast, maybe. I think. But it's not something we talk about a lot.
No, we want everybody to believe it.
We don't want to spoil. Well, that's part of the reason why it has gone viral, is because people think it's real. People legitimately believe that it's real.
Our reactions were real reactions, because it was not made by us. It was a surprise to us. So that was helpful in selling the idea
that it was real. So we took that treasure chest, we put it on a shopping cart. We went to a grocery store and we paid for people's groceries.
Yeah.
And that was kind of our follow-up big treasure video, and it actually did really well.
It did.
It had the desired effect.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Ryan spent the next, I think, 4 months building a second treasure hunt. I think he spent $2,000 or $3,000.
He's a perfectionist, and he does a very good job.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't have been beautiful if it wasn't a very good job.
He's an artist and a perfectionist, and he definitely he took everything that was good about the first treasure hunt, and he probably doubled or tripled the quality of the second video.
It was insane. So cool.
Yeah.
And you didn't know about, you didn't, so it was like you were still going to be surprised when you did it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We just said, we trust you. We know that you're creative enough. Do what you're gonna do, and we will just film the video. And he's like, got it.
Yeah. And so the first treasure hunt was in our house, and the second treasure hunt was in their childhood home that they grew up in, which was
an old
house.
And it had all these nooks and crannies that we had known about growing up, but was unused space, because they, in these old houses, they'd add on these little things everywhere and not fill in the gaps. And so he had a use for all those
secret
gaps.
rooms and trapdoors.
He found all those things, and it was like insane.
You name it, he could do it. So we just kept utilizing his skills, and he was for sure at this point on full-time payroll. We at this point we're making enough money. I had quit my job at this point, and I was doing it full time, and
that was a big deal.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. It was like we wanted to quit after the money we would make on YouTube would replace whatever income he could make.
Yeah.
But we quit before that. It was a leap of faith, and we were like, we just felt good about it. We felt like it would be okay.
Your channel was actually going viral.
Yeah.
She had a video on her channel where she was pregnant. She did this zombie baby maternity costume where the baby's face out of her belly, kind of bloody or whatever looking.
It was really gross.
It was a little bit edgy.
I didn't even want to do it.
She did not want to do it at all.
People love zombies. I don't love zombies.
She hated zombies. So we're like, let's do the zombie video, and it went even more viral than the treasure hunt.
I think that's our most viral video that we've
really
done.
And that one actually went viral first. That was our first big hit home run.
I can't find it. It triggers.
YouTube doesn't promote it anymore.
They don't like it
because it's too.
It's too gory.
Too gory, I guess.
Oh, geez.
Last I checked, it was 60 million, which was
oh my gosh.
Even now, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that was actually our first home run. That was in February. That one took off, which is kind of weird because we posted it before Halloween. It actually took a couple months to spike and take off. I was still working full time, and that one popped in February. And then we were making more money on YouTube at this point. February, March, April. It wasn't till I think it was July or June that I was like, okay, it's still making more money on YouTube. It's still doing better. I think I can quit my job, and it's not just going to come crashing back down.
We had thought about quitting before that, And it did come crashing down right before we were about to be like, okay, let's quit. So we're like, oh, this is terrifying. It was terrifying because that is the thing about YouTube, is that it is decided by YouTube.
You have no control.
You have no control.
Right.
And one day it might be totally fine, and the next day it might get flagged for some reason, or you know, like it was risky. And that part was hard because it was up and down and up and down. I mean, it's not like a normal job. You don't get 1,000 a month every single month, you know.
Right.
No matter how much work you put in. It's like, it's not easy to do that. Except we did realize that there's value in having a consistent amount of viewers for each video. And that is probably the only way that people do get a pretty consistent number each month. So a lot of people were looking at us and going, you had these viral videos. I can't wait till I get to that point. But they're getting 100,000 videos or 100,000 views on every single video. And we didn't realize that that is actually better, worth more than one giant viral crazy video and then going back to a 1,000 views a video. So it's changed so much on our perspective, because we're like, now we know really what to strive for is consistent viewers, even if it's only 1,000. You know, yes, it might be only 1,000, but those people love you and care about you, and you're able to build a community that is more than just somebody who's going to come in and click and watch one video and then be like, okay, I'm done with them forever. You know? So it's interesting. Lots of hard lessons.
So you guys are, you know, it's incredible because you started as the pioneers in the space, and you know, my kids don't even understand what life would be like without YouTube, you know, and how that would even look like. It's changed the dynamic of our entire world, really, with video on demand for anything. But the thing that's super interesting is that, you know, of all the people that could be out there and influencing our children poorly and making channels about it, there are people like you guys that are doing incredible content. And it's like, oh, thank goodness. Like if I come in and my daughter's watching your channel, or any of my kids, it's like, oh, okay, well, at least they're watching the Beach House. You know what I mean? Like there's so much other stuff they could be watching that's bad. And I appreciate that so much, that you guys have held to creating great content, you know, and it's I mean, it's so reassuring to know that, like, when I told my daughter today that I had you on the show, and she was like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, oh, okay, good. Then, you know, I know she's watching great content. This is kind of an interesting question, and I've chatted with a few people about it, but I want it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So you're creating these videos, you found what goes viral and what's working and what was getting the views, and part of it is your job now, and part of it is what supports your family, and so you've kind of unlocked this key that works for you guys. How have you dealt with the repetitiveness of having to do videos that are so similar and the same, and that monotony of like, oh my gosh, if I do one more treasure hunt video, I'm gonna like die, but that's what people are watching, and that's what the kids love. And so, like, how have you figured out how to balance that? Have you figured out how to balance it? You know, what do you guys do?
Man, that's such a good question.
There's definitely some things that are not fun.
Yeah. Well, it hits home, because the reality is there is a level of monotony that comes with filming scripted, you know, adventure stories. When we're doing our vlogs, it's just daily life. I feel like that's just their life. So it's like, I don't really get burned out on that. But if I have to film something that our audience specifically wants, that's not necessarily exciting to me, that's hard. I definitely,
we're struggling with that right now. I
definitely get tired of that, especially when I'm like, my creative mind, like I've always loved to I loved reading fantasy novels. I love reading books and watching adventure movies. And so I feel like I love consuming creative content. I love to create creative content. And so my creative mind enjoys that process of coming up with a new fun story. But I feel like with our viewers, it's like they just want the same thing every single time.
Because we have a certain video that does really well. So then it brings in that specific audience that love that certain type of video that does really well. And then when we post something that's different, they're like, where's my favorite content?
They're like, hey, we want you to do the other type of video.
And they'll say it. They say it very blatantly.
The comments are full. And so
where's the bandits? We have bandits videos that we did for a while.
Right.
And those are exhausting because I have a hard time not being real. I have a hard time not being authentic or my usual self. And so we found we were doing these bandit videos, and it's not that we won't do them again, because there's a place for them. It's fun. It's pretend. It's just play, But if you do 20 of them in a week, you don't get to be yourself for that week, because you have to be in it and like pretending like there's suspense that is not really there. It wears on you. It does.
So, when you're trying to create this type of content that's really, we already know that's gonna perform well. If we create a bandit video, for example, like she said, I know it's gonna do well on our channel, and so I want to invest this time and effort into it. But now I have to be a writer, I have to be a director, I have to be the videographer,
an
actor, producer. There's like so many roles that I'm playing that it's very exhausting mentally, creatively, to where I'm like, I need a break. And after a couple of weeks, I'm like, I still want a break. Like, I just don't want to do it anymore. And in a way, I'm a little bit spoiled because we are at a point where we're doing well enough financially that I can take a break. Like, I can.
That's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. Like, I can stop doing the videos that I don't really want to do, and I can do just the stuff that I want to do.
Right.
Even if it means, we're not going to make as much money, but at least I can do what I want to do.
Right.
It's not going to burn me out, if that makes sense.
Right.
We got to a point where we were making daily videos. So that's 7 plus, I think we added it up once, and it was like,
we had a few extra channels we'd started.
Oh yes, we had a bunch of extra channels. We were like, this is our livelihood. We're going to do it amazing.
I hired
We're not
an
going to
editor.
get burned out like all those other YouTubers.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that was a mistake. I think we were filming 13 videos a week.
Oh my gosh.
Something. It was
across all of our different
across
channels.
all of them, to try and keep them all afloat. And I really felt like the quality of all of them kind of just went down because I couldn't put that much effort and energy into all of these videos and have them all stay afloat and all be successful. It was like too much, and it was too much strain on not only us but our kids and family that was around us that would help us with our kids if we needed, to be able to film ones with just the adults or whatever. And we got to this strange place where we didn't know we were people pleasing the world. And
yeah,
that's not possible.
Right.
We would get comments, I want you to do this or I want you to do that. And it just felt like we didn't have a say in our own life, and that, if I film this, we could get backlash for that. Or I know we'll get backlash for this because of this other video we got backlash for a long time ago. So we started we were starting to self-edit our lives.
Oh, yeah.
And not post who we really were, not being ourselves. We just weren't showing, we started showing less and less.
Right.
And it hurt.
Less of like real life.
Yeah.
Who we really are.
There was a lot less fear going into it when we first started because we were like, I'm not.
Nobody's watching.
Nobody's watching. I'm not getting any corrections from people. I'm not getting any backlash. I'm just going to film whatever I do every day, And after a while of people saying, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, that wears on you, especially being a people pleaser.
Right.
So we had to kind of take a step back for a while because, and when I say a while, I mean, it's been a couple of years.
We took about a year, almost a year off.
And we say a year off. What we've done is it's been on life support.
Yeah.
Like barely, just, you know,
there's
alive.
There's one other piece that goes into that, if you don't mind me going a little bit deeper.
Yeah. I'd love it.
So not only were we feeling burned out creatively, but then, so we're getting on from the viewers, right, telling us that they want us to create content, and we're getting tired of that type of content. But then on the other hand, on YouTube side, YouTube comes in and is also kind of cracking down on creators, because this is right before COVID. This was the end of 2019.
I remember.
There's this whole fiasco going on with, honestly, a lot of creators creating really bad content for kids.
Right.
And using kids in really bad ways.
Abusing children, creating content that frankly is damaging to kids, and making millions of dollars. Like, there's these creators just making
huge,
raking it in and taking advantage of the algorithm and what kids are gullible and going to click on. And so there was this huge crackdown on creators creating content for kids. And because even though we've never specifically targeted children with our content, we're really trying to go for more of a family and a general audience. But because viewership is children, we got slapped for, along with everybody else in the space. And a lot of our content was becoming demonetized, and we weren't making money on it anymore.
Wow.
Videos were getting flagged and deleted by YouTube, and they gave us strikes on our channel. And we were this close actually to having them take down our channel completely and delete it. And so
livelihood, we've invested so much time, so much effort, so much
gosh.
So there's this,
it was damaging to our mental health.
Wow.
Panic mode. So I actually went through, and at this point, I think we had, probably over 1,300 videos on our channel.
Oh my gosh.
Because we'd been doing it for so many years, right?
Right.
And so I had to go through our whole channel, and I actually deleted over a year's worth of videos.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of the videos were ones that were like, oh, we're just going to film our everyday life. We're going to film, things that, a messy house or this or that. But, they started really getting worried about children on YouTube and what they were being exposed to. And we had a lot of people coming in from, I guess, YouTube itself and saying, you're not allowed to have children that have messy faces. That's like child abuse, or that's neglect. So we would be like, we couldn't have our kids eat any food. So if any videos had them eating food, we had to delete those videos.
If the kids were wearing bathing suits in the pool, we had to delete those videos. If the kids get a scrape,
they have to wear clothes when they swim at all times now in videos, and we don't film them eating anything. It's just a rule like that. And so it's really frustrating because that interferes with your normal life.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't at that point be like going into it like what we thought it was, which was, hey, there's people filming their everyday lives and making money off of it. No, now it's starting to affect our everyday life and change our everyday life. And we have to edit our everyday life. And that was painful for us. That was hard.
Yeah. And not only were we getting hurt by YouTube for the content that we created years ago when it was not bad, right? When it wasn't against the rules. But also we were getting in trouble for bad comments on our videos. So like,
even the ones we weren't making the comments.
Right. Yeah. No, not us. Like,
right.
Girl or a jerk or bad guy comes on our videos and he's swearing or he's saying inappropriate things. Because of his comment, we are getting in trouble.
What?
From YouTube. Yeah.
Oh my
because
gosh.
kids make the comments.
Yeah.
And so even a swear word or a link to some other bad place, which happens, it's the internet. People are free on the internet to do whatever they want.
So like almost all of our comments on all of our videos got turned off for a really long time. So it was like whirlwind. And then on top of that, then there's COPPA. So YouTube has been collecting user data on children because the children, were creating accounts, they're creating profiles.
Or they were using their parents' accounts.
And so as the kids are watching all of our videos, YouTube is looking at what content they're watching and creating a profile for this viewer, right? So they can serve them targeted ads specific to that viewer's interests.
Right.
Well, that viewer happens to be under the age of 13, and so because YouTube's collecting data on this viewer, and that violates the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, which is COPPA, YouTube gets hit with a fine from the federal government, and now YouTube's getting all this heat, and they turn around and just pass it onto the creator and say, you creator now are going to be responsible to tell us, YouTube, if your video's content is created for kids or not for kids.
This is what it did. It was really hard because we have this life and it's going great and we're filming it. So then it starts getting narrower because, we can't do that because, we'll get backlash from our audience. Then it gets a little bit narrower because, YouTube
We'll get backlash from YouTube.
We'll get backlash from YouTube. And then it gets narrower and narrower and
we'll get backlash from the government.
We'll get backlash from the government. And then we're like, we're going to get backlash from ourselves, just feeling guilty. All these things. And and the thing is, here's the crazy part. We were not putting up bad content.
No. Not at all.
It was normal, everyday life, families. I even still am like, wow, I can't believe we can't do this or that. But there's obvious reasons for it. And I am not against the work that has been done to protect children.
For sure.
I have children. I don't even let my kids watch YouTube. I let them watch our home videos, our videos. A few of my friends that I have pre-watched to make sure that they're safe. So I'm not against that. I just can't live that way all the time and feel like I am living a full life. And so we had to take a step back. It was necessary for our mental health. And only now have we realized it's almost like we were in an abusive relationship. We're trying to please this unpleasable being, that's just but that also gives us love sometimes.
And they're providing, it's this abusive relationship where they're like providing us all the things that we need, and if we don't do everything that they say exactly like they want us to, then they hurt us, and we're like, that's kind of weird.
It is kind of weird.
But we are coming at it after taking a step back, and it's in such a more healthy way. We're like, okay, we know what could happen. We still have to be us no matter what. If we choose to not post something, that's okay, but we're not going to let our life and our emotions and our mental health go like this up and down with every twist and turn, because we can't live that way. It's not sustainable. And so we're taking a really different approach, and it's more, what's our passion? We're going to post it.
What do we want to create? What do we enjoy creating that our audience will hopefully still like? And if our old audience doesn't like it and they unsubscribe and leave, but we bring in a new audience that does like more authentic beach family, then that's just what we're going to do.
And it's a really hard change because we know in one way we could be making so much money and doing so well. But we had to face some really hard choices. Like, for instance, if we chose to make our channel for kids, then we had to we would be punished because we would make less money. We would get put on kids app, and they don't make as much money there. So we would have to go crazy with our content, make so much more to be able to make the same amount we were making before. Or the other option they gave us was to make more adult content and say, throw in a swear word here and there, make sure that it's for adults. Which, it was technically we started going down this path that was like, well, let's make some house videos and let's make some kind of more dark, eerie suspense,
scary.
And it hurt because, you know, we would have my nieces that would watch the videos and go, I have had nightmares for a week from that video. I mean, we're not trying to do that. We were just thinking, how funny.
Right.
And then it was like, wow, we really have to make a decision.
Yeah.
We can't just go with the flow and have our life dictated by somebody who's saying either become more childish or more adult. You can't be this good in between. And we were this good in between that's like applicable. It's kind of like I don't know, when you find a really good movie that's like the whole family can enjoy, and it's enjoyable, you know, for the adults because it has kind of some funny humor, but then like the kids love it and maybe something could go over their head, you know, but that's kind of where we fit in. And there just wasn't really almost like a category for that because it's just all so good or so adult, you know, so adult.
Wow. So you guys have gotten into some other things along the way. I mean, it sounds as though you're entrepreneurs to the bone, and there's probably no going back. So you were involved in real estate, and I mean, even you were doing crafts early on and doing stuff like that. So, you know, what other things are you guys into these days as well? I mean, I know you're kind of getting back into the other stuff, but what else are you up to?
Yeah, so we're actually doing a couple things that are really fun. To try to diversify our income. One of them is we started creating treasure hunts that were digital online that people could then download and print off at home. So we kind of wanted to offer something. We've got all these viewers that love the treasure hunts. They love the theme. Let's give them something that they can buy. That's kind of beach house theme in that spirit. And it's actually done pretty well. We've had a lot of people go in and download it, and we do a free version, and then there's a paid version that people can get if they want to get more clues or whatever, to kind of create a treasure hunt for their kids. And I want to do more of that type of stuff where we're offering something that's specifically catered to our audience's needs and wants. That's really fun for them. And so I want to do like a Christmas themed one. Right now, the one we've got is like pirate themed. I want to do like a Christmas themed treasure hunt download, one that's like different holidays, you know, different fun.
Just give people
things.
A reason to, I mean, they're coming back for treasure hunts to watch these treasure hunt videos and they can't get enough of it. So why not just let them bring it into their own lives and
get to live it,
you know, and experience it instead of just watching it and experiencing it. That kind of like those toy unwrapping videos, you know.
Totally.
Get the present yourself.
So that's just one thing that we're doing to try to help, you know, increase our revenue that's generated from YouTube, to be able to sell them something.
Continuing to innovate,
Our whole goal right now is to diversify our income enough that we are not reliant on the fluctuations of YouTube, and our emotions don't go up and down with YouTube. So we can, you know, have not all of our eggs in one basket and be sustained outside of YouTube. That way, whatever we put on YouTube, it's not going to be life-changing if it gets taken down, or it's not going to be just, we won't be so controlled. And it won't feel much more like, no, this is my passion. This is who I am unapologetically. Because we don't feel like we're ever going to be done with YouTube. As long as it's a platform, as long as it's up, we feel really good about doing what we've done, and it's had a lot of good impact in people's lives.
In more ways than just financially, we've had a lot of people reach out to us and say that our family videos have inspired them to want to live a better life.
It's true.
And to have their own family one day. Like a lot of, because we do get a lot of younger audience, but a lot of those, you know, younger kids that watch our videos say, oh my gosh, like my parents fight all the time. I didn't realize that, you know, a husband and wife can have a good relationship, that they watch us and they see what true love can look like. And they thought it was just a fairy tale, you know, in movies. And they're like,
and they'll meet us in real life and be like, I thought you were faking.
We're
like, no, we are.
So it's like that kind of like impact, that legacy of like what we're doing to change even it might not change the world, but for some people, we're changing their world, and that is like so fulfilling. It's so fun.
That's really cool.
You know, to be able to have that.
Well, and it's inspired all sorts of interesting things, you know, in our household, because of you guys and some of your colleagues that do similar type stuff. You know, our kids now, it's put the pressure on me, you know. It's like, hey Dad, what family challenge are we doing this week, you know? And I'm like, what are we going to do? And you know, like, okay, we're going to video it, and we're going to create videos like they do it. And so it's like, you know, it's created even more past the impact maybe you think, because it's changed a dynamic within families to be creative and go, okay, well, they're doing that and they're posting on it all the time, and our kids are watching it, like, okay, we need to step up. Like, we got to step up and create things and experiences that we can do with our kids. And and it's really cool, you know. Like, we had we have 6 in our family, right? And so one time we did a music video challenge, you know, and we all had to come up with our own. We don't post them. We're not building a YouTube channel. We probably should.
I was like, wait, tell me what's your channel?
You could probably find it if you go look hard enough. But one time we did we picked random items and we had to make a sales video, you know, and it just fun things. And it's all inspired from you guys, the pioneers that went out and did it in the beginning and figured out these things. And now the kids are all looking at that. And like I said, you guys create great content. We appreciate it so much. And I know that there are, you know, probably millions of families out there that feel the same way. And we appreciate it so much. And I know it's hard, because as I talk to many business owners that want to start a YouTube channel or have already started a YouTube channel and they're looking to monetize, you know, I have clients that are trying to get to that point when they can't even monetize, and they're like, well, I hit this one viral video, just like you said, and they're like, but I don't want to make content like that 100% on my channel. Like, that was just one thing, but they're like, but if I don't, how do I make money? And I mean, you guys just explained it and described what I hear so often. And so I hope this will resonate so much with our audience and those that are building content and building YouTube. It's a great platform. And yet I think there are a lot of growing pains that maybe YouTube didn't even plan for when they began years ago, in that now there's all these social dynamics and challenges that people are having to deal with that maybe, you know, you can't have AI on the background, you know, and so many times videos get pulled because they've all installed these AI systems that are like, oh, they said this word, we're pulling that video down, and it has nothing to do, you know, it's out of context. And I feel like the interesting part is that it's probably going to have to go back towards a space where real humans get involved and not AI being so easily and quick to pull things off, you know, like, hey, maybe they should have an actual person look at your account and go, yeah, this account is good, but they don't. And getting a hold of somebody to do it is like ridiculous. So maybe in my, you know, skewed thinking, maybe somebody in YouTube will catch this sometime and go, oh, you know, maybe we ought to have a real person look at these accounts so that we can see that they're good instead of a robot, you know. But I hope that's the case for you guys. I know you guys produce great content, and as a parent, I'm incredibly grateful and appreciative that you guys do it, and that you put your lives on the line to do it, and that you put your families' lives in harm's way, so to speak, to create great content for our children and so many families out there. So we appreciate you so much, and we appreciate the efforts and work that you guys do for our entrepreneurs, because that's mostly our audience, is just entrepreneurs out there working to build their businesses and live through the hard times like you guys have. Maybe we can share with them your channel and or any of your channels that you'd like them to go visit, so that they can see and understand. Now they have the backstory behind it to understand, like, hey, okay, there was a cost for that, and you guys went through the ups and downs, and it's not just the pretty, but they can go see the final results so that they can understand. So share with us where they should go and how they should find you and what they should go look at.
Yeah, for sure. So our main channel is our family channel, which we've talked a lot about today, is the Beach House. Her channel, which used to be the crafting channel, it used to be called Pins and Things. They changed it to be, it's called now Becca Beach. And that's where she really does more of her, whatever she wants to do.
Biggest shift is no more crafts and all that stuff, but mostly just showing our life, and it's more daily videos now.
But before we do go, I wanted to say one other thing on the topic of like what we're doing to diversify right now. Another thing I'm doing, I'm kind of helping to consult and counsel with businesses and any individuals who are wanting to get into YouTube, help them fast track that learning, that process, everything that I've learned, because I've been in the trenches on YouTube for a decade now, and I've learned so much, like actual like hands-on valuable lessons, street smart, so to speak, from being in it. And now I'm helping people learn. And so I've actually got a couple of people that have hired me to help manage their channel, help consult with them on what type of content to create and why. But we're doing something really cool. We just moved to Missouri, and here in the state of Missouri, we are going to be hosting in-person live meetups every month with anybody that wants to get into the space of YouTube. Even if they're not already in YouTube as a creator, but they're wanting to get started, either as a creator or a business wanting to use YouTube for marketing, come to the meetups and we can help kind of teach, collaborate, network. We had that back in Utah before we moved here. And that I can honestly say is one of the biggest keys to our success, was having a community of creators that we could learn from and support each other. And so we're wanting to do that out here too. So, and
I want to say incredible. We have talked a lot today about a lot of the negative things, but it has been the most incredible experience of our lives. And changed everything. And I'm so grateful for it. I would too. And I am so grateful for it. And it has been incredible. So I wouldn't deter anybody from starting their own and working towards it. Because it is a huge, incredible, amazing blessing. And it has changed our lives for the best. But, you know, I did want to share a little bit of the behind the scenes of what's not so glamorous. But everything else is like, I mean, we're not stopping. We're not stopping it. We still feel great about it.
Still our dream job, and we're loving every minute.
And we're really, really grateful for what we've been able to accomplish and what we're going to accomplish.
I love that. And the funny part is that you're like, oh, I don't want to be negative. I'm like, you know what? If everybody was negative in the way you were just negative, which was mostly positive, then we would be in a much better world right now. So, you know, I don't think it was negative at all. It's really great for entrepreneurs to just be able to hear both sides. And that's why we do these interviews and get different entrepreneurs with different businesses on to share some of those experiences, because I believe it. You know, I think YouTube's a great space to be in, and so many people haven't realized its true potential yet. And I don't know that we're close yet. I think we're just touching the tip of the iceberg, and it's going to be people like you that have already weathered the storm and can lead us in the direction we need to. So all of you guys out there, you need some help with YouTube, look him up. I bet he can help. I bet they can help. And I bet that you can speed up your journey a lot faster. So go look them up and get in touch. What's the best way they can get in touch if they wanted to do some consulting with you?
So we've got a Facebook group called the Missouri YouTubers group.
Okay.
That's where that's going to be my most public facing contact process through YouTube. It's not quite.
We need to make a website. We should do that.
I'm working on it. Yeah.
It's really in the beginning stages, but it's something he's always asked about, and always doing consulting anyway. So
that's true. That's true. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for being on the show today. You guys have been amazing. Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing with us the behind the scenes. I know there are going to be some people that benefit greatly, and thank you again for the great influence you guys have had on our children and our family. And we look forward to more videos from you guys and watching you continue to grow. So thank you so much for being a guest today.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us today.
Want more business choreography?
Check out our website at bizchoreo.com to find out more.
And find out how the choreography for your marketing, operations, and sales can raise your revenue and create more impact.
Remember, every business needs choreography.